This is BHAMBRA for PSP Sports. We're the Jamie Cox versus George Groves press conference here today in London. I'm joined by Ambrose Mendy. How are you doing, Ambrose?
I'm really well, thank you very much.
Good, good. Firstly, Ambrose, what do you make of the World Super Series and obviously this fight itself with Groves and Cox?
I think, you know, events last weekend show you the high end of boxing, but boxing has paled into relative insignificance in terms of, you know, global appeal for one simple reason, and that is that the intellectual property of boxing is not housed under one umbrella. Whereas if you think of most of the sports, you think in terms of rugby and cricket, even netball and basketball, they are. And of course, if this were happening with boxing, where one party controlled all the intellectual property rights, they can go to sponsors and create partnerships which would benefit boxing greatly. And I think, you know, Super 8, you know, series, the Super Series itself, is heading down that road. Al Heyman had a similar idea with PBC, but here in Europe we can see it quite clearly. You know, we have the former Eastern Bloc, which has such a massive growth potential, and it's going to happen, it's just a question of time. For broadcast content, we're seeing changes of course. And this, look at it, I mean, we have a real prospect of two Brits fighting for a place in the final. All of them earning record purses, record monies in their career. Jamie Cox, outstanding amateur, Commonwealth gold medalist, undefeated as a professional. We know Jamie's had his problems, but he's overcome those. And look at him now, supremely. Never mind about he said a minimum amount of words. Look at him, and I'm staggered. I can't believe the diatribe that Shane McGuigan came out with, denouncing somebody, saying he's a light middleweight, he's a middleweight. Thank goodness John Costello came back, you know, and rebutted that and said how, you know, that wasn't good fair. Taking things forward, you look at both the fighters who are here today, George Groves in particular, and know that this is a hell of a fight. And as George said, they'll know whether they're fighting Eubank Jr. or the Turkish opponent in the semi-final. Right now, I don't think people have fully grasped, you know, this concept. Simply because it's been overshadowed with Mayweather and McGregor. Most things have been overshadowed, even the Premiership. But then, having said that, we have other business in, you know, Canelo and GGG. So it's an exciting time for boxing, but I think this time next year we'll be talking about Super Series, you know, moving in another weight division, maybe welterweight, maybe middleweight. It's here to stay.
Absolutely, Ambrose. And Ambrose, I know you're obviously involved in Chris Eubank Jr.'s team at the moment. Obviously, he successfully defeated Arthur Abraham, and he's going to fight Avni Yildirim in Stuttgart in October. So, how's everything looking at with Chris Eubank Jr., and what do you foresee for him in the nearby future?
I think Eubank Jr., George Groves, Callum Smith, Jamie Cox, all of them have as good a chance as the other to win this tournament because of the level of competition. Strange enough, I don't see anybody outside of those four winning this. But as far as Eubank's doing, he's done obviously all his research. He's been out training, you know, in the United States, in Las Vegas.
Yeah, with Floyd and with
Floyd Mayweather Sr. And he's now back, came back yesterday.
Sure.
And now, of course, the date can't come quick enough. We're almost there. You know, it's going to be interesting. And this is the first of a number of conferences that will be held.
Sure.
It was unique almost to see Eddie Hearn sitting at the table today in this country, because of course there is no TV partner advertised yet. So we don't know whether it will be one of the usuals. We don't know if an Amazon is going to come in or a YouTube. Who knows? As it was said, MP Silva are the rights holders.
Okay.
And their background, of course, goes into Champions League, etc., etc., etc. And they own an enormous number of overseas rights. We have to wait and see. Bigger and better things. Get used to saying it, because it's going to be a byword for the progress of boxing, in my humble opinion.
Have you got any other news to tell us, Ambrose? Maybe with future fighters you might manage, or any news in boxing in general, or sport?
Look, boxing was reborn and won a tremendous battle last weekend. The whole of boxing was on the line. If perchance the legendary fighter of the last 10, 15 years had lost to McGregor, we wouldn't be standing here now. That's for sure. That said, hey ho, you know, it's a period ahead of us that is going to be, shall I say it's exhilarating? No, it's going to be for real. These fights on this bill are real. Everybody involved in this Super 8 series is for real. They say that this feed of, I think we've got something like 16 separate weekends when fights are going to be delivered, you know, world-class fights. Somebody posed a question earlier on, but you know, we've not heard of a lot of these fighters. No, you haven't. You don't need to hear, you just need to watch. You see the action, then you'll find out the name, you know, in some of these overseas fighters. And we've proved it. Look, we're stood there thinking that a mixed martial arts fighter could be a supreme boxing talent, and thank God those in the know were the winners. In this, I think some of these names that nobody knows will become household names. In social media, in a cruiserweight division, I don't have an interest in it. In the cruiserweight division, they are all world-class, world-standard, world champions. They're in amongst the mix. Here, of course, we have the single world champion, and whoever wins this tournament will emerge as the WBA world champion. Take care. God bless. Take care. Cheers. Keep on running. I'm saying whoever emerges from this will be WBA champion, and look to unify the other titles, because there are some outstanding fighters, of course, who could have entered into this competition for many reasons, varied reasons. They haven't. That's
absolutely. Ambrose Mendy, thank you for your time as always for PSB Sports. You always give us your time at any press conference, so we're always appreciative of that.
Yeah, it's all about you.
Thank you so much, Ambrose. All the best.
Pleasure.